Final round of the Truist Championship from America's oldest country club, the Philadelphia Cricket Club. All the action on CBS. Shane Lowry and Sepp Straka enter Sunday as your co-leaders at 14 under on a fantastic Mother's Day in the greater Philly area. Who would come out on top? Rory McIlroy tried to make a push, but stuck in neutral. Already 3 wins this season, a 4th not in the cards, but a birdie at the first was. Just one of 2 birdies for Roars in final round action. Bogey free, just a whole bunch of pars. T7 at 10 under. 5 top 10s in 7 starts this season for the Masters champion. Maybe other Irish eyes would smile on Sunday. Shane Lowry making an early statement at the first as well. A 12-footer for birdie moves him to 15 under. Would add another at the par 5 fifth to take a 2-shot lead over Sepp Straka. 4 straight pars to start for Straka, but injecting life into his round with an eagle at the 5th. 20 feet to the bottom, and just like that, we're knotted at 16 under. Fast forward to the 9th, Straka now a 1-shot lead after a Lowry bogey, this from 28 feet. Second in strokes gained putting this week, that old Odyssey, rolling right. Moves into a 2-shot advantage, but trouble arises. Bogey at 10, another at 11, back-to-back, and we are tied once again, this time at 15 under. Justin Thomas trying to take advantage of those at the top not running and hiding. A huge birdie putt here at the 15th, and come on, JT. That was for a share of the lead. A 3-foot birdie goes begging. Thomas finishes T2 at 14 under. His 4th top 2 finish of the season. Had a win back at the RBC, was trying to go back-to-back in as many starts, but he would only be secondary character to those 2 at the top, and Lowry with a par save at 16, the wrong time for the hard lip. Only 4 bogeys all week until that point. Can't believe it, drops one. Straka would par to hold a 1-shot lead with 2 to play. Now on 18 after a wayward drive, Straka 207 from the fairway bunker. How's that? Gives the hole a scare. Rolls out to 31 feet, so no gimme 2 putt from there, but some work to be done, and he was cut for it. The birdie putt. Not enough break in that one for Straka's read as he rolls by the hole. This thing not in the can just yet. Lowry can now tie with his birdie look from 20 feet. Shane slams it by on the high side. Missed the comebacker as well. 2 bogeys in his final 3 holes, and a despondent Shane Lowry looks on as it's now formality for Sepp Straka and his 2nd win of the season. This at a signature event. Straka, your winner at the 2025 Truist Championship, joins Rory McIlroy as the only multi-time champions on tour this season. It's Sepp Sunday in Philadelphia as Straka is a winner at the signature event. It's his 4th career win on tour, 2 of those again coming this season as he moves into 2nd in the FedEx Cup standings. Sepp Straka, Philly special. Post round is presented by the latest P790 irons from TaylorMade. First word, as always, goes to our guy, Doug Bell. Doug, a thrilling home stretch there. Nerves felt throughout by all parties involved, but Straka emerges. Your emerging thought is what?
Well, Sepp Straka now has 2 wins this year, 4 wins overall, and this is the biggest win of his career without question. Aside from the majors and the Players' Championship, when you can take down the best at the signature events, it is a big deal for these players. So Sepp Straka has elevated himself now, Joe, to star status. He's not the superstar level yet, but now we know who this guy is. He'll be on the Ryder Cup team again. He's top 10 now with a win in the official World Golf Rankings. Think about that. And he's now number 2 behind Rory in FedEx Cup points with 700 being earned today. Good for Sepp Straka. He is playing fabulous golf, and like Rory now, the only multiple winner in 2025 so far on the PGA Tour. This was impressive. I didn't think he was going to do it. Justin Thomas was my pick, but Sepp Straka, wow, what can you say? He's playing the best golf of his life.
Yeah, made a big roar there with the eagle at 5 to get his day started. Did give a couple back, turning, but settled in when others got shaky. We'll get to Shane Lowry here in a moment, but you touched on a couple things there, Doug, that I think we might need to delve deeper on, because this is elevation of status for Sepp Straka to household name. Those who are engaged with the game of golf certainly know who he is, but does it here against one of the best fields we're going to see all season long at a place that nobody really knew all that well. what does it mean to win twice in a year? He's the only, as you said, alongside Rory McIlroy to do so, to know that you can not just do it, but start stringing them together.
It's rare. It's very rare, especially now in this modern age of golf, because it is so difficult to win just one time on the PGA Tour. And the impressive thing about this, Joe, he wins early in the year at the American Express and then has a pretty good season along the way, and now knocks down the door again in the second half of the season. These players will tell you they usually capture lightning in a bottle in a 3 to 4 week stretch, and then the rest of the year they're just hanging on. But what Sepp Straka has proven is his game carries from California now all the way into the summer, a golf course that nobody was familiar with, the cricket club at Philadelphia. So again, very impressive what Sepp Straka is doing right now. And listen, Rory is fantastic. Scotty Scheffler goes into next week as the odds-on favorite. We know Xander Schauffele is healthy again. But we got to mention the name of Sepp Straka with all those other big names, because right now not many players are playing better than Sepp Straka.
We're going to get you your PGA preview in just a bit here on HQ Post Round. Right now, let's hear it in his own words, Sepp Straka, after the win.
You talked about the nerves that you have to handle in order to win out here on tour. Describe those nerves that you were feeling today and what you had to do to get it done here at a signature event.
Yeah, you just, it's hard to eat. You just feel kind of nauseous. Can't feel your arms, legs, whatever. You're just kind of fighting through it, but that's kind of what makes it fun. When you're pulling off shots with that feeling. It makes it really special.
Not being able to feel your arms or legs feels like a very challenging thing while you're playing out here on the PGA Tour. When you think of a moment today, what are you most proud of? Is it a shot? Is it a mentality? What is it?
Yeah, I think just hanging in there. I hit a lot of really good shots and I made a lot of mistakes. Just hanging in there and giving myself a chance. And I had a 2-shot lead and then bogeyed the next 2 holes to lose it, and just keeping the same attitude, same mentality through the whole round.
It's Mother's Day, so I'd be remiss not to talk about your family. I know that you guys are really tight-knit. What are the sacrifices that your mom made to allow you to get here today? We know that she's watching.
Yeah, you can't even put it in words, really. You don't really realize it until you have kids yourself. The sacrifices that my wife makes every day. It just makes you so much more grateful for the parents that you have, and I just can't believe all those sacrifices from my parents paid off.
I know that they're watching right now, so you can look right in there and give them a message.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day. Thanks for everything you do every day, and Paige, hug Leo for me.
Congratulations. Enjoy this one, Sepp.
Thank you.
Hey, you want tears? Ask a man about his mother, Sepp Straka, there after his 4th career victory. And we try and build out the profiles of what we expect from these players over time. And we have a nice sample size now on Sepp Straka, Doug. The putter is what buoyed him throughout this week. 2nd in stroke gain putting behind only Jacob Bridgman this week. When you think of Sepp Straka, do you think of the man who's most proficient with putter?
Well, it's interesting you asked that question, Joe, because people have asked me, what does he do so well? And I always answer, I said, listen, Sepp Straka does not do anything great. He just does everything really good. And think about that. And that has added up to this phenomenal year. But you mentioned his putting. At the beginning of the year, he made some changes in his stance. He opened the stance a little bit and his grip. And what's interesting, he showed that to me one day, and by the naked eye, it's kind of like, I don't quite get the tweaks, but for him, it was significant. And yes, his putting numbers have improved dramatically. And obviously, you have to hit the ball well off the tee, hit good iron shots. But the money comes when you drop those putts. And he did it again today. And basically, Joe, he's done it all year. So again, keep that in mind. This guy isn't great at anything. He's just really good at everything.
Yeah, success found in the minutia here for Straka, who gets it done at Philly Cricket Club. His foil on this day was Shane Lowry for much of it, and I'm taken back by the golf Shane played throughout this week. Over 69 holes, just 4 bogeys to his name. He bogeys 2 of his last 3 holes that he plays this week. Doug, what did you take of how Lowry dealt with the pressure here late?
Well, he faltered late, and he's another guy who's had a really good year. In fact, he would say this is probably his best all-around year he's ever had in professional golf. And this is a major champion. He's also won the Bridgestone Invitational at Firestone, another tough golf course. But he just felt coming into this week and heading into next week at the PGA Championship that he was in really good form, and he is. But I think at the end, he just faltered, whether it was fatigue or whether it was pressure or a combination of all of that. He faltered at the wrong time. And Shane Lowry, again, if you look at Shane Lowry, Joe, over the last few years, there's been many times where he's come really close, and at the end, it just gets away from him. And today is another example of that. He falls just short. But again, Shane Lowry inside the top 30 FedEx Cup points. He's going to go back to the Tour Championship for the second year in a row. And with 3 major championships left and the Open Championship returning to the scene of the crime where he won before, I think Shane Lowry's in good stead now with some pretty big events heading the rest of this season.
And that Claret Jug in 2019 that he held for 2 years with no playing in 2020 remains his last solo victory. Did win last year alongside Rory McIlroy at the Zurich. Maybe one other kicking himself for opportunity squandered here on Sunday, that being Justin Thomas, who's played sensational golf this season, back to the level that we've expected from the young phenom, now grown man with a family and a win at the RBC. Tried to go back-to-back, but couldn't find it late either. How optimistic should we be about Thomas's play this week heading into a PGA where he's found his 2 Wanamakers prior?
Very optimistic. It was interesting on Saturday, he bogeys both of the par 5s at the Cricket Club, which was kind of a head-scratcher, right? And I kept thinking, well, that might cost him on Sunday, but he continued to be my pick. And then, of course, he missed that short birdie at the same par 5 late in the round on Sunday. Dropped his shot at 17, dropped a shot at 16, came back with a nice birdie at 17, but then couldn't get it done at 18. But nevertheless, I think what we're seeing in Justin Thomas is a guy who's having a big rebound year. And I think heading into next week, JT's got to be one of the favorites. There's no question about it. He has 1 win and very easily could have 3 wins. Let it go at the Valspar, and obviously had an opportunity here. But again, you can't complain about those missed opportunities. You think about what you have in the bag. He has the RBC heritage and a lot of big events left ahead. So I think your question, JT, in really good form heading in the rest of the season.
I've got Thomas down for 4 top 3s this season, 6 top 10s, playing some mighty fine golf with that win again at Harbour Town. We talk about places and special ones that we get to know well. This was an introduction to the Philly Cricket Club for most of us, and an amazing week at that, winning score in the teens. This wasn't the turkey shoot, for lack of a better term, that some maybe expected. How did Philly Cricket Club present to the greater golfing public?
It was absolutely breathtaking. It really was. And obviously, Mother Nature played a factor. Thursday, perfect conditions. We had the rain on Friday, the high winds on Saturday, and then we got back into good stead today. This was a redesign, if you will, and A.W. Tillinghast, one of the legendary golf course designers in our country, and Wingfoot and some of the others are on his impressive resume. But this was awesome. The PGA Tour set it up where the 18th for the members was number 14 here. The finishing hole today was not the ordinary finishing hole, but nevertheless, it was a breathtaking layout. Tony Finau and others in their press conferences over the weekend kept saying, we need to come back to cities like Philadelphia. We need to come back to cities like New York and play some of these old legendary layouts. And they withstand the test of time, Joe. That's the great thing. Tillinghast designed this many, many years ago, 100 years ago, and it's withstood all the time, and now it's holding back the best players in the game with the best technology. I love it. And on TV, it just popped. It was absolutely gorgeous.
A golf course that certainly endures, as the plaque reads, of A.W. Tillinghast. And
yes,
it's Sepp Straka win in the greater Philadelphia area. Some great fans there to take witness to what Sepp Straka was able to do. We now take our steps towards Quail Hollow, a place that you've made many a step on, Doug Bell. We're going to get to an in-depth PGA preview, but just your thought as we are now officially onto a major week of what it's going to take out there at Quail.
Well, it's interesting. It is now being played in May. It is not an August event. The last time the PGA Championship was there, it was late summer, so it was a soft golf course. Since then, the course has been totally, it's gone under a facelift. New fairways, new greens, new teeing grounds. They've changed some of the holes a little bit because of the corporate hospitality tents. So it's going to play really firm, really fast. And I think what we're seeing, it is a It is a home run hitter's ballpark. Long hitters will thrive at Quail Hollow. The short hitters, I think they're going to really struggle. The rough is up, so again, you hit it long, but you could get some dicey lies in the rough. The greens are going to be just so fast. I mean, maybe second only to Augusta National. Think about that, Joe. And obviously, we're talking about the beauty of the cricket club, Quail Hollow. It's right up there with the prettiest golf courses in the world. It really is. So it's going to be a great test, but I do believe the long hitters, Rory, DeChambeau, and some of these guys will have an advantage next week at the PGA Championship.
You allude to McIlroy. He was the defending champion this week. However, we will go to the place where he won this tournament next week. It's a lot of moving parts here, but he knows Quail well. It's a home game, for lack of a better term, for Rory McIlroy. When you look at what he did this week, it was, for most of the week at Philly Cricket Club, as quiet as a week could be here in the top 10 for McIlroy. I know we've seen now a team event and 72 holes here at the Truist. Are you seeing enough competitive repetition to feel as buoyant, as bullish on McIlroy as we should heading into the PGA Championship?
Yes, capital yes. I really think Rory has set himself up for another great run next week at a golf course that he completely dominated last summer. Remember when he was cutting the corners and hitting those drives in places that we've never seen before? He's won there 4 times, Joe. So I think mentally he just can't wait to get back to Quail Hollow. But I think he's divided his time. Obviously went to the Zurich Classic and teamed with Shane there. They were the defending champions. And then goes to New York for a media tour, comes back down to the Bears Club, meets with a short game guru, and they go through 3 days of intense short game work. And then this week he used as an absolute tune-up. And again, nothing against the Truist Championship. He said that in his press conference. He wanted to win, but he also wanted to go out and get his game back in championship form. Finishing in double digits, 10 under par, I think he did just that. He accomplished his goal. Now he heads to Quail Hollow with a fresh mind, a place he's had ultra success. And again, it is a home run hitter's ballpark, and there's no better player in the world with a driver in his hand, with all due respect to DeChambeau and some of these other longer hitters. There's no better driver of the golf ball than Rory McIlroy, and Quail Hollow sets up absolutely perfect for Rory, who, by the way, is having the best season of his illustrious career.
No argument there whatsoever, as McIlroy waited more than a decade to collect another major championship. We'll see if he can put couple back-to-back following the Masters with a PGA. A look at your leaderboard at the Truist Championship, where it's Sepp Straka, Philly special at the Cricket Club. For more, we take you back out to Philly, into the Super Tower. We say hello to our friend Trevor Immelman. Trevor, before we get to our winner, I want your point of view on the role that pressure played here Sunday over the final 9 holes.
Yeah, look, for sure, it always does. It means so much to these players to try and get a win. It's so hard to get a win when you're looking at this type of competition that they're going up against. And we saw it play out. All week we've been talking about how difficult those final 3 holes are. And you look at how Lowry played them. You look at how Straka played them. Lowry was 2 over in the final 3. Straka managed 3 pars, and that ended up being the difference. So he was pretty clutch down the stretch, made a great up and down at the par 5 15th to match Lowry's birdie, and then was able to hang tough and get that win. Great win for him, biggest win of his career, and a lot of good things come with that right now.
It certainly does. You allude to Shane Lowry, who made 4 bogeys this week through 69 holes. 2 of his last 3 come with squares on the card. Unfortunate in those moments, but Straka claims another here, his second of the season, a multi-time winner alongside Rory McIlroy. What does this win mean for Sepp Straka? Now 4 to his name, maybe elevating even another echelon that we've seen from the great ball striking and play throughout this season.
Well, it's now his 4th PGA Tour win since 2022, so he's starting to rack them up at a pretty nice clip. And you look at the people that he's beating, you know, here at this signature event against the best players that we can offer. The win at the Amex, Justin Thomas finished 2nd. He had that great Ryder Cup performance, so he really is starting to jump in the mix with the best players on the planet. And that confidence is just going to start building. And I love his demeanor. Look, he's not the type of flashy player that is going to go out there and let you know about how good he is. He just lets his clubs do the talking, and it's kind of fun to watch that. Really happy for him. This is a huge win. It's going to be a giant stepping stone to the future.
And certainly puts him in the conversation of those we will keep a close eye on as we head now to our second major at Quail Hollow. Trev, I know it's a special place to you and all the different phases of your golfing career. When you look at what this week holds for us, what has your attention most heading into that second major?
Yeah, look, I'm so pumped. First things first, we got some bad weather over the next 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be a bunch of rain, so it's going to be interesting to see how the course starts to develop and handle all of that water, how much practice the players are able to get, and how much course time to be able to really start to figure out what the conditions are like out there. But gosh, I mean, I have got great anticipation for this major championship. We have all the world's best players coming in great form. And so I think it's going to be really exciting at a place like you touched on that is very near and dear to my heart.
From cricket to quail, nobody does it like golf on CBS and our guy Trevor Immelman. Thank you, Trev.